My dear friends, today we're going to talk about the seventh stage of the 10 stages of the soul, which is the stage of paradise. Now let us start with a quick recap of the 10 stages of the soul. And this is a journey that I wrote about in 1995 in my first book. And it's a metaphorical journey where I'm walking down an old Arabian street. And it's got cobblestones on the street, the building facades are ancient. And then I come across one facade which has a door that is slightly open. And there's cobwebs growing on the door, which tells me that no one has entered this place for a very long time. Something pushes me and I enter the building. And in front of me I see a staircase, and then there's darkness at the end of the staircase. My first reaction is to turn around and run. But instead, I take the first step of this staircase, and I start hearing the sounds of a marketplace from the walls. People, animals, thousands of events, noise, activity. And remember, I can only hear from the walls. I cannot see anything. And I ask myself, where am I? Where is this place? It sounds like a marketplace. And then I take one step further, and everything goes silent. One more step, everything is silent. But on the third step, I come to the second stage, where I hear the sounds of water dripping from a tap with absolute consistency. And this water is coming down in a very, very focused way. So I know there's a pail, I hear it's dripping, and hence I can get a sense of what's happening. Then I climb 3 steps up, and I hear the sounds of a grandfather clock ticking away with great consistency, as if I'm in the clock. Then I climb 3 steps more, and I reach the 4th stage, where there's children playing in the playground, laughing, innocence, happiness. It's beautiful. I take 3 more steps, and then I reach the 5th stage. And at the 5th stage, I hear the sounds of a waterfall. It's as if I'm standing in the middle of a powerful waterfall. These sounds are coming from the walls of the staircase. I look ahead of me, and I see this staircase and then a wall of darkness. Being the scientist that I am, I always count the steps. And each time, there's always 66 steps. It doesn't matter how much I climb. Then I climb 3 more steps, and I reach the 6th stage, where I hear the sounds of monks chanting in a temple. Very beautiful, very soothing sound. And then 3 steps later, I reach the 7th stage, where I hear the sounds of the ocean, the water, the waves on the beach. It's a beautiful beach. There's wind, gentle breeze rustling through the palm trees. A very, very peaceful and soothing sound. Almost one where I just want to stop and move no further. Then I climb 3 more steps, and I reach the 8th stage, where I hear the best, the most finest music in the world. There's this orchestra that's playing with complete harmony. Every instrument is in pure harmony. I've never heard such music in this world. Take 3 more steps. Now I hear the sounds of the bottom of the ocean, as if I'm under the ocean and there's movement of water all around me. And then finally, 3 steps later, I reach the 10th stage, where I hear the orchestra, I hear the bottom of the ocean, and now I hear the sound of dolphins. And I ask myself, where have I come? And each time as I was climbing up, several times I thought I should turn around and go back, but I couldn't because there was a wall of darkness behind me. So there's only one way up this staircase, and that's forward. Then I look at the 66 steps, they're still there, but at the end of the steps, now there's a door. And the door is slightly ajar, and behind the door, there's a light. Now, normally, when you open a door of light at a dark staircase, the light would fill up the staircase, wouldn't it? Not this one. This one stayed right behind the door. Then I heard this voice, which I describe in the book as the voice of thunder, very powerful voice that makes you feel this big. And the voice says that you have climbed up to the 10 stages. Now tell us what these stages mean. And I had no clue. So I said, "Oh, voice of thunder, I don't know." The voice says, "Yes, you do, otherwise you wouldn't be here." I was asked a second time, and I was getting worried. I said, "Oh, voice of thunder, I don't know." Then I was asked a third time, and it was almost as if a veil was lifted from my eyes, from my mind, and now I knew everything. I knew the entire journey. And I said, and it was with pure clarity, and I said, the first stage is the stage of the marketplace, with thousands of events, activity, noise, chaos, people, time, change. This is the world I have come from, the material world. And the voice said, "Yes, that is true. That is the first stage." I said, then I rose to the second stage. I could hear the sounds of the water dripping from a tap in a bucket with absolute consistency. And I said, what has happened between the first and the second stage is my focus has narrowed from thousands of events down to one singular event, which is the dripping water from the tap. And then, when I reach the third stage, I'm in the middle of the grandfather clock. But it is still one singular event, which is the ticking of the clock. But in the second stage, one can see water, one can see a bucket, one can see it dripping. But when the third stage, you cannot see the time that is represented by this clock, by the ticking. So I've gone from the seen to the unseen. And then I rise to the fourth stage. And the fourth stage is a new chapter for my soul. It's like a new birth. And this is depicted by children playing in the playground. It's almost like I'm a child again. Lots of innocence, lots of happiness, lots of vigor, lots of purity. That's the fourth stage. Now in the second stage, there was the droplet of water, water being the essence of life. In the fourth stage, now I have begun to become a river. And in this new chapter, I've gone from droplet to river. That takes me to the fifth stage, stage of the waterfall. And there's abundance of water flowing and falling everywhere. And when water flows with that amount of energy, it's very pure. So the fifth stage is the abundance of purity. And this droplet from the second stage becomes a river in the fourth stage. The river grows by merging with other streams and rivers, and it goes down this huge waterfall. And so I'm growing in strength and purity and energy, and that's the fifth stage. And then I rise to the sixth stage, where I hear the sounds of the monks chanting in the temple. The temple is my physical body. And the chanting of the monks is the very first time I hear my own inner voice, very first time. And then I climb to the seventh stage, which is a stage of paradise, which is what we're going to talk about today. And this is where there is the beach, the waves finishing their journey on the beach, the sunlight in the beach, these palm trees, the rustling of the wind, the breeze through the palm trees. It's a stage of absolute beauty and peace. And it's a stage that is so peaceful that I almost don't want to go any further. I just want to stop here and rest for eternity. So then I'm asked the question, so what about stages 8, 9, and 10? I said, then I cross paradise and I reach the stage of the orchestra. And this orchestra plays the finest music that I've ever heard, because every instrument is in complete harmony. This is the stage of zero conflict. And zero conflict is unimaginable by any being. And the voice of thunder says, yes, that is true. And this is the stage where most souls get stuck or struggle the most on their journey further. And very few make it forward. And I said, then I go to the ninth stage where I'm at the bottom of the ocean. So now I've lost my physical form. The temple in the sixth stage was my body. Now I've become the ocean, so I don't have a physical form. I am the ocean. I am infinity. And I can still hear the orchestra playing under the ocean. And then I reach the 10th stage where I can hear the orchestra. I have become the ocean, and now I hear the sounds of the dolphins. And these are the monks of totality, of infinity. In the sixth stage, there were monks in the temple. The dolphins are the monks of totality. So the voice says, why is it that from stages 1 to 7, each stage is distinct, the sounds don't carry through. But after 7, when you get to 8, 9, and 10, they are continuous. I said, at stage 8, I am the river that is merging into the ocean. So as I keep merging, there is a certain distance where I am neither sweet as the river nor salty as the ocean. And it is my merger into totality. And during that phase of merging, the steps are not distinct, so I can hear the orchestra. And then when I finally merge into the ocean, I can hear the bottom of the sea. And then I hear the monks of the ocean, and I'm fully merged. I have become totality. So the voice of thunder says, you may now climb the staircase. And so I climb up the 66 steps. When I reach that door of light, I'm allowed in. And the last words I hear are, you are no longer you. That is your fulfillment. So those are the 10 stages of the soul, of a metaphorical journey of the soul. Now, in the last masterclass, we covered stage 6 in some detail, which is the monks chanting in the temple. And the temple is our physical body, and the chanting of the monks is the sound of our inner voice. Stage 6 showed us sacred dimensions of the physical body. We also explored the symbolism behind the monks. What do they represent? And then we discussed the chanting as a representation of our inner voice. What is this inner voice? What role does it play in our lives? So I do recommend you revisit the video of stage 6 and refresh your memories on its core lessons. Today we are going to focus on the 7th stage, the stage of paradise. This is a stage of immense achievement for a soul, and therefore it carries a very deep significance. And therefore our friendly angels, Cyrus and Luminous, are going to host us today and help us understand what paradise really means. So they take us to a gathering of the 8 guardian angels of paradise. And this is a metaphorical gathering. And the guardian angels are truly intriguing beings. In what ways? Unlike descriptions of our folklore and traditions, they do not project human forms. They are not beings with wings, nor do they portray any gender, male or female. They appear to us simply as silhouettes in a radiant mist of sandalwood with a beautiful fragrance. So they are silhouettes in a radiant mist of sandalwood with a beautiful fragrance. Their presence and the way they speak and move is extremely gracious and loving. So these guardian angels are mystical, gentle, and very unassuming beings. Nothing like the notions we have of the angels of paradise, at least now. So I had shared a number of questions about paradise with Cyrus before this gathering. And these are questions that many in our material world are curious about. So I said, let's get some answers. So Cyrus starts off the conversation with the guardian angels by saying, human beings of the material world have fantastic notions about paradise that we would like to seek your comments on today. He looked at the first guardian angel, who was the vanguard amongst the 8, and said, humans believe that paradise is a place of peace, happiness, and rejoicing. Some of them think of paradise as a place where there is a free flow of wine, women, and song, like it were one big, endless party. Some believe they will have virgins as companions, and that these companions will be of eternal youth. They believe paradise is a place of reward for those who do good, and that it is a place of eternal rest. Can you comment on these notions for us and clarify? So with a soft, gentle, and almost melodious voice, the first guardian angel replied, "Some of the aspects of paradise you just mentioned are common beliefs of the material world. Let us address them at a general level and then go to deeper level next. Let's get the general ones out of the way first because they are easy. And these are: paradise is a place where there is a free flow of wine, women, and song, where they shall have virgins as companions and companions of eternal youth. Paradise is a place of reward for those who do good." All these statements are characteristics of lessons that were taught to humanity at the dawn of its civilization. This dawn of civilization was a period of transformation from barbaric and animal ways to the creation of ethical, civilized societies based on morals and values. The language used in the scriptures and teachings during this transformation was one of basic reward and punishment, because the human mind was intellectually undeveloped, or as a minimum, underdeveloped at that time. And this is where the early descriptions of paradise, heaven, and hell emerged from. Wine, women, song, virgins, companions of eternal youth. These are aspects that barbarians could understand and get excited about. Hell and its fires and rain showers of brimstones are concepts that even barbarians could be made to fear. So what was the real message behind these teachings that appear in scriptures and all kinds of writings? It was basically inculcation of ethics and virtue through reward for what was right and punishment for what was wrong. But today, the human intellect is significantly developed, and hence understanding right and wrong comes naturally. Threats and incentives are no longer necessary. So when it comes to paradise, what it really is, you can safely let go of the notions of endless, exciting human passions. Those messages did their job very well when they were necessary at the dawn of human civilization. So I asked the question. I said, "May I ask one more naive question?" "Sure," the first guardian angel said. I said, "We are told that when a soul enters paradise, it is received by you guardian angels, and that you help the soul settle into paradise." Luminous laughed and said, "You mean like a meet and greet?" The first guardian angel replied, "Paradise is not like a place with a door through which souls may enter. This is a material world notion. Paradise has no boundaries or barriers. It is a level that a soul ascends to. A soul that has acquired all the required characteristics simply flows into paradise. So you can think of paradise as being fluid and completely flexible, and not a material place with rigid dimensions of length, width, and height. Is there a meet and greet here? He said, we believe such a notion does not apply in paradise. Let me give you a simple analogy of what happens here so you can understand. He said, when a raindrop enters the river, it needs no reception party. The raindrop is water, and it simply becomes the water of the river. So souls of paradise are like those droplets. They flow into paradise, and they become us and are within us. So I said, that makes you guardian angels immensely powerful in that case, doesn't it? No, replied the first guardian angel. It simply makes us whole. The droplet completes the river. We don't see that as power. We see that as fulfillment. And today, my 7 companions and I are going to share with you the characteristics of souls that reach paradise, so that you may all learn from our words and become us, we pray. Amen to that, I said. So the first guardian angel continued. He said, when a soul reaches paradise, it is indeed an immense achievement, one that the soul rejoices with deepest gratitude. So yes, paradise is a level of happiness and rejoicing. It absolutely is. Now, the symbolism of paradise, as described in the journey of the 10 stages of the 66 steps of the soul, he said the symbolism is that of a sandy beach endowed with absolute beauty, under a blue sunlit sky, with waves of the ocean yielding to the shore, amidst a gentle breeze that causes the leaves of the palm trees to rustle. Take a moment and visualize it. Visualize a sandy beach, endowed with absolute beauty, under a sunlit blue sky, with waves of the ocean yielding at the shore, amidst a gentle breeze that causes the leaves of the palm trees to rustle. Beautiful, isn't it? So the first angel continued, now let us discuss the meanings of the allegories of the beach, the sand, the sunshine, the ocean, the waves of the ocean ending their journey at the beach, the palm trees, and the wind that causes the palm leaves to rustle. Needless to say, this stage is of immense beauty and peace. And truth be told, most souls are happy to just stop here in paradise and rest for eternity. Now, my 7 companions are going to describe to you further these 7 symbols. So now the second guardian angel steps forward and he says, I will share insights with you today on the first symbol, which is the beach. What does the beach represent? He said the beach in paradise is the horizon where the land meets the ocean. In the material world, you are all accustomed to horizons, which are optical illusions, where the earth meets the sky or the ocean meets the sky, for example. In the material world, a horizon is the simple optical illusion that reveals boundaries and limits that are not real. But you see them all the time and you live within the limits that they project to your eyes. The horizon of the beach, at the beach of paradise, is no optical illusion. The horizon is real. The ocean does meet the land here. So the beach in paradise is a symbol of departure from the world of illusions and arrival at the world of the real, where the ocean does indeed meet the land. For souls that reach paradise, this represents a transition from illusion to reality. Such souls have gained a depth of wisdom that enables them to rise above the illusions of the material world and live with a constant awareness of what is real. Such beings don't rely on the 2 eyes that can see in 3 dimensions. They see through the 3rd eye, which is the eye of the real. Cyrus added, that's very true. The 7th stage is one where souls have gained the use of the 3rd eye, while still in physical form. And this 3rd eye is also revealed in the parable of light, which is the foundation of the journey of the 10 stages of the soul. Now, my dear friends, we have a full video on the parable of light, as well as one entitled, How to Access the 3rd Eye. Please revisit these videos because they will add a lot more of a comprehensive context to our conversations with the guardian angels of paradise today. So the second guardian angel continued, he said, souls that have reached paradise are seers of the absolute reality. They are seers of the absolute reality. And they celebrate this achievement with happiness and rejoicing. And most of them are happy to stop here and go no further. So the common human notion of paradise is applicable in this regard. Yes, it is a state of happiness, rejoicing, and eternal rest. Cyrus said, but remember the words of the elevated soul, Mansur al-Hallaj. He said, why should I settle for the pleasures of paradise when I can taste the essence itself? Why should I settle for the pleasures of paradise when I can taste the essence itself? Cyrus said, seeing the absolute reality is a hallmark of those who have reached paradise. But being the absolute reality is very different. Seeing is one thing, being is something else. For that, a soul has to go beyond paradise and ascend through stages 8, 9, and 10, and then cross the door of light. And that's when a soul becomes absolute reality. And that's what Mansur al-Hallaj attained when he declared, I am the truth. And the ignorant people of the time executed him for uttering blasphemy. They branded him a heretic and they killed him. I commented that it is said that even the blood that flowed from his lifeless body wrote the words, I am the truth. I can believe that, Cyrus said. Next, the third guardian angel came forward and said, the second symbol of paradise is the sand on the beach. We've done the beach, now let's talk about the sand. A beach is a place of beauty, covered usually by sand that you can play in, walk, and be physically close to the ocean. Now, where does the sand come from? And what is its significance? The sand particles we find on a beach actually have traveled from places far and wide, from all over the world, carried by waves and distributed across all the shorelines of the world. These individual particles of different origins all reside together in harmony within the beach sand. Therefore, the sand on the beach is a powerful physical representation of pure unity, something most in the material world would find difficult to achieve. You all know the word unity, but do you know what its true essence is? The sand on the beach shows you a physical representation of pure unity. So go to the beach, pick up the sand, and look at it, and recognize how these little particles of a myriads of origins are sitting on your palms as one sand, as one unity. Isn't that marvelous? The Creator has said in the scriptures that we have placed our signs for you in nature that you may discover, recognize, and learn from. So the third guardian angel said, I would say that the sand on the beach is one such powerful sign. And beings of the seventh stage have realized this pure unity. And they live their lives in a complex material world by rising beyond individualism and exclusionism to oneness and unity. To reach paradise, it takes achievement of that realization of pure unity. There's also a further dimension of sand on the beach that adds to its special character. What is that? It is that sand on a beach has many different colors, and different beaches also have differing colors. Therefore, this sand embodies absolute diversity in its very physical form. Human beings live amidst diversity in the material world, but your minds often fear and exclude whatever is diverse, be it race, color, species, etc. The sand on the beach goes beyond all your human limitations to project diversity as its essence. So souls of paradise have realized pure unity with diversity as its essence. And the third guardian angel continued, and another dimension you see in beach sand is pure humility. Each little particle you see came from huge structures of landmass that stood at one time tall and powerful. Yet here they are, particles tiny in size, representing pure humility. These little particles are so humble that they comfortably rest on the beach beneath the feet of all those that traverse them. There are numerous other characteristics you can draw upon from sand on a beach, he said. But from our perspective, The beach sand in paradise represents pure unity, the essence of diversity, and humility. Pure unity, the essence of diversity, and humility. That was quite an important lesson, Luminous said with gratitude. Now it was the fourth guardian angel's turn, and then the fourth guardian angel stepped forward and said, "This brings us to the third symbol, which is the sunshine." In paradise, the allegory shows the sun shining brightly on the beach. In the material world, you would experience light and warmth from this sunshine. Now, what does sunshine represent in the context of paradise? Firstly, that the light of the sun brings clarity to vision. You can all see best with clarity when there is ample light. So the sunlight here is a symbol of clarity. In the same vein, sunlight makes everything evident. When there is light, everything becomes evident. Nothing remains hidden. So for souls of paradise, all is evident with complete clarity, and nothing is hidden. So the fourth guardian angel continued, "Next, the light of the sun is extremely powerful. So there is immense power present everywhere on this beach, whose sand particles project pure humility. This tells you that the sunlight on the beach represents the power that goes hand in hand with humility. For souls of paradise, being humble means being powerful, ever powerful, like the sun. And this is the mindset we recommend you adopt in your material lives, for there is much to be gained from it." Next, the sunshine brings warmth, warmth of a comfortable nature, a warmth that makes one feel happy and at ease, making paradise a place of peace, beauty, and rest. The warmth of the sunshine is an endearing characteristic of paradise. So Cyrus said, "Beings that have risen to paradise have gained complete clarity. Everything is evident to them. Nothing remains hidden from them. They are deeply humble, and true power comes or resides in their humility. And they are warm and endearing beings to all. People love to be close to them, for they project a very special energy of warmth and peace and happiness." So now the fifth guardian then came forward, guardian angel, and spoke. The fourth symbol of paradise is the ocean. Now, what are the characteristics of the ocean? Firstly, the ocean is a symbol of infinity, that which is without measure. Therefore, in paradise, the ocean is clearly evident as the absolute reality, and souls of paradise have recognized its infinity. They have seen absolute reality when they experience the blessing of enlightenment. So souls that have reached paradise have experienced the blessing of enlightenment. And most souls of paradise are content with this blessing. They are happy to remain in paradise, where the infinite absolute reality rests before their eyes eternally. Another aspect of the ocean in paradise is that it represents a crossroad for the souls of paradise. Now, what does this crossroad mean? Let's go back to the ascension through the 10 stages of the journey of the soul. The droplet started its journey at the second stage, as it dripped off the tap with uniformity and focus. Then it became the river in the fourth stage, as the soul embarked on its new chapter, its new birth. The river then became the waterfall in the fifth stage, the stage of service and abundance of purity. From there on, the river continued to flow and grow, and now it is at the seventh stage, right before the ocean. But it has not merged into the ocean thus far. It's there, it has not merged. So the river is the hallmark of the soul. And at the seventh stage, all is evident to the soul. The beach, the sand, and the absolute reality, and the ocean itself. Everything is evident to the soul. What is remarkable is that while the ocean meets the land at the beach in paradise, souls that have come this far remain only on the land. They can see the ocean, but they are not in it. Just like they can see absolute reality, but they have not become it. They are the river that is at the ocean, but not in it. And that is the crossroad of the souls of paradise that they have to decide upon: to remain in paradise or to take on the challenges of stages 8, 9, and 10, where the river merges into the ocean and then becomes the ocean. That's the decision they have to make. And that is the crossroad. And most souls choose to rest here in eternal peace. So I said, the scriptures talk about paradise as having rivers that flow beneath gardens and springs that provide blessed water to their recipients. What is the significance of these underground rivers and springs? The fifth guardian angel replied, in paradise, the river has two different dimensions. The first one is that of the river that we have been talking about thus far. That which flows above the surface and reaches the ocean, but has not begun to merge into the ocean. Then there is a second dimension, the river which flows under the ground, with full commitment to merge and become the ocean. This river does not come to the crossroad. This river represents souls that have already decided that their only final place of rest is going to be in the ocean, fully merged. So the underground river represents souls who have come through paradise but do not partake of all its beautiful offerings as their final accomplishment. They want more. They have chosen to become the essence, like the souls of Mansur al-Hallaj and others like him. Hence they flow unseen below the ground and emerge within the ocean, readily embracing the challenges of stages 8, 9, and 10 that lie ahead. These are very special souls and fewer in number. And they grace the gardens of paradise at the roots of these beautiful plants, in the gardens that reward all those that reside on surface. So these rivers are nourishing those plants from beneath. And all those souls that are above on the surface are partaking of that, of their blessing too. Wow, that's very profound indeed, I said. The fifth guardian angel said, a soul can make this commitment earlier in its journey, from stage 4, where the river is born, to stage 6 with the monks in the temple. By making this sacred commitment at any point between stages 4 and 6, their karma of enlightenment is immediately engaged. Hence, paradise is not their chosen abode of eternal rest. They are the dimension of the river that flows beneath paradise, en route to its final abode, union with the Creator. So I asked those of us here who know this today, can we make this commitment now? Absolutely, the fifth guardian angel replied. And maybe that's why you are learning about it today. Thank you, I said. You have given us something very insightful to think about. Then the fifth guardian angel continued, and as for the springs, there are several of them, many of them. These springs bring forth the blessed water of the ocean itself to souls of paradise. Remember, they reside on the land, not in the ocean, but they are blessed to partake of the ocean through its blessed springs that yield sweet and eternally soul-nourishing water. Now, there is one very special spring that is the most sacred one of all. And on souls that have chosen to venture through stages 8, 9, and 10 get to partake of it. It is the spring of the highest esteem in paradise. It is referred to by different names in different scriptures. Lots of scriptures talk about this one highly esteemed spring. And I smiled and said, I once proposed the name of this spring for the baby daughter of a couple I adore. I believe we emulate our names, so this was my wish for that little baby. So the fifth guardian angel continued saying, then there are springs for souls that choose to remain on paradise. The waters of all springs of paradise carry special energies and blessings. And that is what matters when you consider the role of the springs. More so than the water, it's the blessing they carry. That is truly enlightening. Thank you, I said, because this was something I'd been wondering about. The sixth guardian angel then came forward and said, the fifth symbol of paradise is the frolicking waves of the ocean as they reach the shore at the beach. What is the significance of the allegory of the waves? Firstly, let us consider the journey of a wave at a general level. A wave starts its journey in the ocean as a tiny ripple, then grows to immense sizes and shrinks into troughs. A wave has seen repeated cycles of highs and lows, like no other in creation. From a spiritual perspective, these highs and lows represent experience that a soul gains throughout its journey. And this experience becomes knowledge that makes the soul shine brighter and brighter, like the parable of light says, light upon light does the Creator guide unto His light those whom He wills. So a soul starts its journey as like the ray of a sun. But you can tell the ray apart from the sun because it is not as bright. But through experience, through knowledge, through its journey, it gains light and becomes brighter and brighter until at some point you cannot tell it apart from its source. And that is its fulfillment. That is what happens when the soul completes its journey past the door of light at the 10th stage. Now these waves reveal a physical manifestation of the journey of the soul and what it takes to make it grow in knowledge and light. Next, the guardian angel said these waves finally make it back to the shore at the beach, where they crash, either gently or with force, into the sand, and then they complete the journey and they ebb back into the water and become a new wave. So this symbolizes the eternal nature of the journey of the soul. It never ends until it gains ultimate fulfillment when it finally merges into the ocean and crosses the door of light at the 10th stage. Hence the waves reveal the eternal nature of the journey of the soul. Now there are two further signs. Here are two further signs that the Creator has placed in nature for humanity to learn from, as the scriptures say. Let us come back to paradise now. Here, the waves that frolic from the ocean to the beach reveal a more sacred, mystical dimension. And what is this dimension? Souls that venture ahead beyond paradise to stage 8, the stage of the orchestra, the stage of absolute harmony, the stage of zero conflict, souls that venture through there, they go through great challenges at stage 8 because it is a most difficult stage to cross. Zero conflict is the most difficult character for any being to achieve. So these waves that frolic to and from the beach, from the ocean in paradise, they represent souls of the 8th stage that are going through refinement by elimination of their conflict. They keep coming back to the beach at paradise until they are able to cross the stage of zero conflict. So the frolicking of the waves is also like a happy dance. It signifies that the souls of the 8th stage are happy despite their struggles. They come to the beach at paradise and then ebb back into the ocean and keep their pursuit of crossing the 8th stage. When a soul transcends the 8th stage, it does not come back to the beach at paradise. It no longer comes back as a frolicking wave. It carries on to stages 9 and 10, where it becomes the ocean. So the frolicking waves of paradise are also a beacon for souls at the crossroads of whether to rest eternally in peace of paradise or venture ahead towards ultimate union with the Creator. I was left speechless. What an amazing revelation the sixth guardian angel had shared. Cyrus asked, Does this mean that souls striving to cross stage 8 keep coming back and forth to paradise until their ultimate goal is achieved? Yes, indeed, the sixth guardian angel replied. Cyrus then asked, can a soul then choose, after struggling to cross the 8th stage, to give up the struggle and remain back in paradise? It's not that simple, the sixth guardian angel replied. Once the commitment is made by a soul to venture ahead, the karma of enlightenment is engaged, and that is not reversible. There's only one way ahead, and that is forward. But because they have made that commitment and the karma of enlightenment is engaged, they will be helped. And as you learn about the 8th stage, you will gain a deeper understanding of the karma of enlightenment and how it works. Another priceless lesson, I thought to myself. Next, the 7th guardian angel stepped forward and said, the 6th symbol of paradise is the palm tree. What does the allegory of the palm tree signify? The palm tree is a very special creation, for it is in complete harmony with water. Imagine palm trees grow all along the beach, right from the beach sand, and everything around its roots is salty. The sea water and the sand are all salty. Very few trees can survive such a condition. And if you look at all beaches or oases or springs in the world, you will find palm trees. It is a universal symbol of harmony with water. It draws salty water through its roots and makes it sweet by leaving behind the salt. This is an important feature. Its entire being is made up of sweet water, which also ends up in its fruits, like the coconuts. Therefore, of all the plants created on earth, the palm tree is very unique, for it can live harmoniously with different types of water. When it comes to the journey of the soul from paradise to the 8th stage of orchestra and the stage of zero conflict, you can think of each conflict as being harsh, like the salt. It is a harshness that can kill and destroy any plant, but the palm tree has the universal capability to separate out each salt and each conflict and thrive with sweet water in its being. This tree represents a physical manifestation of what souls of the 8th stage become. They become resilient and strong as the palm tree, with the ability to dispel every single conflict from their core. When you think of zero conflict, think of the palm tree. And for souls of paradise, at the crossroad of their journey, the palm tree is another symbol for them, which reveals the journey that lies ahead for them, should they choose to go forward. As the scriptures say, we have placed signs everywhere in nature for those that care to see. The palm tree is one such sign of a highly exalted level in the journey of the soul. I said, isn't it so beautiful how the Creator has placed extraordinary essence and meaning within creation that appears simple and almost meaningless when you look at it? How many of us ever pause and look at the palm tree and ask, why has the Creator placed it before us? Such a deeply mystical plant, and yet so ordinarily placed before our eyes. Lumina said, today you have been shown multiple signs that the scriptures have spoken about, embedded within each allegory of paradise. I would suggest you all dig deeper and find more meaning in them. When you ask the question, the universe has to respond in its own way and time. But questions you must always ask. So start inquiring from yourself within and dig deeper into all these allegories. Finally, the 8th guardian angel stepped forward and said, the 7th symbol of paradise is the wind or breeze that causes the palm tree leaves to rustle. What is the significance of the wind and the sound of the rustling leaves? Firstly, the wind is unseen, and yet it has the power to shift nature in so many ways. Strong winds and gales can cause so much damage and rearrange the surface of the earth. from deserts to changing landscapes and redistribution of plant seeds and more. Wind can also provide the power for ships to sail across the oceans, and this has been an important depiction of human relationship with the ocean from the time the scriptures were written. So wind is an unseen power that works with and within nature in remarkable ways. Now, let us look at the role of the wind at the beach in paradise. Firstly, it is a gentle breeze, projecting gentleness and kindness. We all know that wind can be aggressive and conflictive, causing tempests and storms, but not in paradise. Here it is an unseen gentleness, very nurturing, as it dances with and shapes the frolicking waves at the beach. Secondly, the rustling sound from the palm leaves makes up one of the mystical notes of the orchestra at the 8th stage. This is interesting. The rustling sound of the palm leaves makes up one of the mystical notes of the orchestra at the 8th stage. In stage 7, the wind creates music with the palm leaves as its instrument. So the palm leaves are its instrument. The wind continues to be present in stage 8 because in the orchestra there are many instruments that produce very fine music from wind. In the 8th stage, the wind creates divine music through the multitude of wind instruments that are playing together in complete harmony. Wow, what profound knowledge we have gained today, I thought to myself. It was now time for the guardian angels of paradise to depart. The first guardian angel, the vanguard, said, "When you think of paradise, don't just think of a place with an endless happy party or a place where human passions play out. Don't think of paradise as a physical place with rigid material dimensions. Think of it as being fluid and flexible. Think of paradise as a state reached by souls that have refined and perfected themselves to a truly exalted state. In the material world, you will always have highs and lows, from successes to failures, elation to sadness and disappointment. Success, elation, and emotional highs are never permanent in the material world. On the other hand, however, in paradise, this is a level of happiness and rejoicing, peace and rest that is absolutely eternal. It is permanent. It is never followed by loss and disappointments and sadness. So paradise is a state of eternal happiness, an eternal high if you choose to call it so. Every soul has the opportunity to reach paradise, regardless of what stage it may be at. Therefore, take on board the lessons of today and apply them in your daily lives and rise from stage to stage so that you can ultimately become us, we pray. Cyrus and Luminous thanked the guardian angels as they disappeared into the radiant sandalwood mist. My dear friends, what a journey we've experienced today. The 7th stage of paradise is a lofty achievement for a soul. And going further beyond to stages 8, 9, and 10 is an even more exalted passage, which we look forward to exploring together in the next set of masterclasses. I pray that you may all be blessed with immense spiritual growth, and that the seeds of knowledge that we have gained today may germinate in all our hearts, minds, and souls, helping us to grow and rise from stage to stage in our spiritual journey. I'd like to thank you all for being here today, for bringing your light, your positive energy, your presence to this masterclass. And I pray that the light of the Creator may always be with you, to help you, guide you, protect you, and love you always. Stay blessed.